I regret ever meeting him. I regret ever knowing him. I regret the fact that he was ever born. He's done so much harm and damage to so many important things that, of course, I think everybody who ever met him regrets the day they met him.
Now, Donald Trump is facing questions over an alleged birthday letter sent to Jeffrey Epstein. It made up part of a 238-page scrapbook given to the US sex offender Jeffrey Epstein on his 50th birthday. The White House has called the image that was released last night a hoax. It comes after the Democrats published a series of new documents secured from the Epstein estate, which included this book presented to Epstein. In the book, a drawing allegedly bearing Trump's signature beneath a silhouette of a naked woman, and there is some text there too. The White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has been answering questions about it from reporters, mainly about its legitimacy.
I did not say the documents are a hoax. I said the entire narrative surrounding Jeffrey Epstein right now that is absorbing many of the liberal cable channels on television is a hoax that is being perpetuated by opportunistic Democrats like Ro Khanna and the others whom you saw on that press conference outside of Capitol Hill, who are trying to push this hoax against the President of the United States.
What exactly is the hoax? I'm just trying to understand what's fake. What's fake is not the documents.
The hoax is the Democrats pretending to care about victims of crime when they do not care about victims of crime, when they have done nothing to solve crimes.
Well, Alan Dershowitz is a former lawyer for Jeffrey Epstein. He's also represented Donald Trump and also, according to reports, has an image in this scrapbook given to Jeffrey Epstein on his 50th birthday too. Alan, good evening.
Good evening. Like, I was representing Jeffrey Epstein, and he was asking me advice about the Vanity Fair article that had come out just a few months earlier. And so I sent him a note on his birthday saying it was Vanity Unfair. And he had many friends. He had hundreds and hundreds of friends, and many of them sent him birthday greetings. None of us knew, at least I never knew, that he was doing anything improper at that time. He was running seminars at Harvard University. The president of Harvard was there. The provost of Harvard was there. Many other people were there as well. And so there was nothing untoward about writing a birthday greeting to somebody.
OK, well, you could attribute that to Donald Trump. And so why is such a fuss being made over this silhouette?
I don't understand why there is such a fuss being made. I mean, obviously, everybody knows that the Palm Beach community included both Epstein and Trump and Epstein knew each other. They met at various events. I remember meeting a whole bunch of people at an event when an astronaut came back from space with some wonderful pictures, and Epstein invited a whole bunch of people to see the pictures, and we were all there. We were there to listen to lectures on physics, but there were never any young people there, never any people who were in any way subject to suspicion. And so this was months before, really years before, he was investigated or indicted. So nobody was on notice that he was what he eventually turned out to be.
We'll get back to your video shortly, but first, many of you right now will be watching the show on your phone, tablet or laptop, completely unaware that this very second someone could be accessing your device and stealing your data. Using the internet without private internet access, VPN, is like letting Facebook post your diary. Your friends and family can read all your dirty secrets. A virtual private network, or VPN for short, is an app that hides your IP address and safeguards your internet connection through an encrypted tunnel. It shields your digital life from those eyes who are looking to exploit your private information. Whenever you connect to the internet on a public Wi-Fi network at airports, coffee shops, friends' houses, or even at your own home, your data is at risk of being stolen. Your device is transmitting a great amount of information out into the open, which can be viewed by various different entities before reaching the intended website, such as your ISP, government sensors, advertising companies, and more. Hackers on the same network can easily steal your personal data. With PIA, you're protected. But there's more. With PIA, you can access all your usual streaming services, including Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney+, even if you're outside your own region. All you need to do is open the app, select a server from 91 countries, and just like that, you're digitally there. And it's not just for fun. With recent legislation, more and more content is being restricted. PIA allows you to access the content and news that you want to watch. And with one PIA subscription, you can protect an unlimited number of devices, so that's the whole family covered. Follow the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen now to receive a massive 86% discount, making it just £1.57 per month. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee, and to top it off, you'll receive 4 additional months for free. Head to piavpn.com now and take control of your digital life.
So there were, several times when you were in the same room as Jeffrey Epstein, normally at an event hosted by him, and Donald Trump was also there?
I think on one occasion, when he invited the people for the astronaut, a woman named Lynn Forrester, who then became Lady Rothschild, introduced everybody to Jeffrey Epstein. She was his introducer. She introduced me to Epstein, told me that he was contributing to Harvard. She introduced Bill Clinton to Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know whether she had any role in introducing Donald Trump, but she was the introducer. She was the person who facilitated Epstein's contacts with lots and lots of people, including Nobel Prize winners. I used to go to a seminar at lunch where I sat next to a man named George Church, I think his name was. He decoded the genome. I had been on the Harvard faculty with him for 25 years. I'd never met him. And Epstein introduced me to him. So he was somebody who he introduced me, obviously, to Prince Andrew, who then came to my class and sat in the back of the class and listened to me teach criminal law. And then the dean of the Harvard Law School had a dinner for Prince Andrew and 25 or so faculty members. These were all innocent gatherings.
How did you find Prince Andrew, by the way? I am, is obviously part of our royal family. I just wonder what your takeaways were from him being in the back of your class.
Well, I met him on Martha's Vineyard. Again, Lynn Rothschild introduced me. She was giving a party for her soon-to-be husband, the Lord Rothschild. And Epstein was there, and Prince Andrew was there, and we met. And he introduced him as somebody to me as somebody who was teaching criminal law, and he said he was very interested in that. Could he come and sit in on my class? And then the British Consul General to Boston invited me and my wife and Prince Andrew to a dinner at the consulate, where we discussed policies in the Middle East and politics, and no issue involving women or anything improper came up during that dinner as well. I'm sure that was true of many other dinners as well. Epstein also introduced me to Peter Mandelson, the guy who's now the ambassador to
Peter Mandelson, who's the UK ambassador to the US. Yeah, he has an image in this book as well. We had tea,
and that was the end. He would love to introduce people to each other. So again, Mandelson didn't do anything wrong. He just was somebody who knew him, as we all did.
So look, this outline of a woman's body, there's sort of a skit on it. It's called Voiceover, and there's lines for Donald and lines for Jeffrey. And in it, the message quotes Trump as saying, "We have certain things in common, Jeffrey, wishing that every day be another wonderful secret." And that's got tongues wagging. Any idea what that's about?
No, I have no idea. Jeffrey was a very secretive guy. He lived a very private life. And he, when you went to his house in Palm Beach, as I was with my wife and my daughter and my granddaughter were at his house, there was an area of his house that he prohibited anybody from going to. In retrospect, we now knew probably what had been going on in that area of the house, but at the time, nobody had any idea. There were no photographs in the public areas of the house that would be suspicious. All the photographs that they found were in his area of the house. So Trump may have been referring to his penchant for keeping part of his life secret. In retrospect, that now sounds very suspicious, but at the time, there was no reason to believe it. People always have private areas of their house. When you go to a person's house, there are areas that they tell you not to go to, the bedroom, the bathroom, etc.
You present a perfectly reasonable explanation for you having a birthday message in that book. Why is the Trump administration working so hard to say that his signatures are fake?
I have no idea. My view is everything should come out, everything. Not only the names of people who are being accused, but the information about the accusers. For example, we know a woman named Sarah Ransom who accused Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and others of having sex tapes and with young children, and then she had to admit she made the whole thing up. So when you release that information, you also have to release the information about the fact that she ultimately
but you're also
admitted
dealing
she
with
made
victims
things
of
up.
sex
So
crimes,
that's why I
aren't
want
you?
everything out.
Yeah, I mean, look, the really tricky thing of that is that you're dealing with victims of sex crimes who actually may feel that they don't want their identity uncovered in that way. Maybe it is a secret that they've held with them for most of their lives, and we need to respect that throughout the judicial
but
process.
at the same time, respect the rights of people to challenge false accusations. And so it's a balance that has to be struck. And the balance has to be struck in favor of more of disclosure than of hiding things. It's been a long time now, and I think the right solution is to put everything out there, let every single bit of information, every videotape, every audio tape, every document out there so the public can judge.
Yeah, I mean, does Donald Trump have anything to be worried about, in your opinion? There is lots of work going on by the Democrats to get documents released. This scrapbook, the birthday scrapbook given to Epstein, is one of a whole tranche of documents that they say that they've got from Epstein's estate.
Well, I've seen a lot of the material because I was involved in various lawsuits as a lawyer, and I've seen nothing that would in any way incriminate either President Trump or President Clinton or the president of Harvard. These are all people who knew Epstein, and we all wish we had never met him. It was a terrible thing for all of us to ever be in his presence, but we knew him before he was in trouble. I then became his lawyer, and once I finished being his lawyer, I terminated my relationship with him. I didn't want to have any kind of a personal relationship with him. I did have a professional relationship with him, the way a doctor would with a patient.
Do you regret that now?
I regret ever meeting him. I regret ever knowing him. I regret the fact that he was ever born. He's done so much harm and damage to so many important things that, of course, I think everybody who ever met him regrets the day they met him. And I regret the fact that Lynn Forrester introduced him to me, Lady Rothschild, and told me what a wonderful person he was. She has to bear some of the responsibility for introducing so many people to Jeffrey Epstein and praising him to the sky. I was sitting at home in my house on Martha's Vineyard with my family one day in August of 1996, and I got a call from Lady Rothschild saying, "Oh, you have to meet him. He's contributed to Harvard. He's such a wonderful man." I said, "No, I'm with my family." And she pushed and pushed and pushed. Finally, I said, "All right, I'll let him come over and I'll meet him for half an hour." I did, and then he invited me to come to a birthday party for Leslie Wexner, at which Shimon Peres was at. And there were only 6 or 8 people at the dinner party. Shimon Peres, the former prime minister of Israel, John Glenn, the former astronaut and senator. These were the kinds of people that would be at events that Epstein had. And of course, people would like to go to those events because these are interesting people to meet.
I mean, obviously, Lynn Rothschild, or Lady Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, as she's fully known, he's not here to answer her case on there, but on that. But you're clearly saying maybe some more questions do need to be asked in that direction.
Yes.
We have no proof of anything to bring forward. Of course, this is just your perspective on it. Look, thank you for being with us. Alan Dershowitz, former lawyer for Jeffrey Epstein, also represented Donald Trump, and has an image contributed with a birthday note to Jeffrey Epstein for this big scrapbook. Thank you for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.